the person you really want to do this. But as you might imagine, she's a little bit busy. And she is working remotely right now, but she is available. The first thing I will mention is that all of us have a office in Collaborate. If you don't have it, and you don't need it for what we're doing right now, you do not have to have access to that office. That's a great question, Kim. Kim's asked if we could ask lab assistants in AAC to do the CC transcriptioning. I think that would be a great idea. I though think that they are probably going to be kind of overwhelmed right now. I think this will be a good thing to have work studies do, etc. And I'll look into what some options could potentially be.
One thing real quick too, Kim,
yep.
I'll just say Kim, there is talk that at least at night, and people in her area are also going to employ some folks to do that in the future. That's something we're doing currently.
Yeah, we got approved for a full-time position for someone to help her out.
Yeah.
Ty?
Yes. Oh, sorry.
I was just having you note who you'd want to. So.
Yes. No, good.
All right. Cool. So what I'm going to do is go over a few things in Blackboard Collaborate. As you probably noticed, if today was your first time coming in, there are tutorials. There's a really easy to use help guide. So what I'm going to do here in a moment is share my screen, and everything's going to go absolutely bonkers. Here we go. Bonkers in 3, 2, 1. Yeah, there's what we're looking for. So everything went crazy for you. I am going to move over to one of my Blackboard courses. I'm doing something very meta. I'm in a Blackboard Collaborate session showing you how to make a Blackboard Collaborate session. So if you want to use this in your class, you will need a Collaborate button. If you come up here to add a menu item, you can add a Collaborate link in your course as a tool. So if you need, and make it available to your students, obviously. When you come in to your Collaborate section of your course, once you've built one, it'll look like this. And creating a session is really easy. You can click either of the Create Session buttons. So when you come over here, you need to name your session. Now, if you want to start your session immediately, let's say you're going to go ahead and record something for your students, you're not inviting people, etc., you can go ahead, leave it set, and go on in and join. But there are some other things you can do. You can set up a particular time for a session. So let's say, for instance, my night class, I'm going to do a Collaborate session for them every Monday night at 6 o'clock when they would normally meet. I'm not requiring them to show up. I don't think synchronous meetings are a great idea right now. But I'm going to do that and allow them.
Synchronous meeting, I just want to point that out.
I just said that in a synchronous meeting. I know. I'm sorry. I meant for students. For us, totally reasonable. They can come in and join, just like what you all have done online in the meeting today. So if they come in and join, they can ask questions, they can turn on their camera, and all that good stuff.
That's it. Okay. This is all new to me.
Go ahead,
so
Sandra. Go ahead. What's your question?
That is you live presenting,
yep.
them sitting listening.
Yes. And you can record it, so anybody who can't come, I'm recording what we're doing right now. So you can record it, so anybody who's not there can access it. Also, you can upload it to YouTube for captions. So if you're going to do that, you can leave the session open. I always put at least a dummy end date on there, just so I can go back in later and see my finished session. You can edit all of this later. You can edit your end date at any time. You can also set up repeat sessions. So this is great for office hours. So if you want to hold a virtual office hour, you can set up a repeat session called office hour that opens every Monday at noon or whatever time your office hours are.
So one quick question about
yep.
that. If I open an office hour, quote unquote, in one of my classes, I can just share that link to all of my classes though?
The best way to do that would be to use your Collaborate Office. And if you do not have access to a Collaborate office, if you let Casey Patterson know, she can set that up for you really quickly. And I like to do, if I'm going to do office hours or meetings, I do them through the Collaborate office. But I will mention that you can send a link to anybody from a Collaborate session. So you can email out a link to your students. You don't even have to send them in through Collaborate and say, go click on this, da, da, da. Here's the link to the Collaborate. And you can do that for the live meeting. You can do it for the recording.
Okay, quick
So,
follow-up question.
Yeah.
Collaborate office, I understand Casey will give it to us.
Mhm.
Where do we find it?
There is a link, and I can send you the link.
Okay.
And the only catch is the login information is not exactly the same as Blackboard, like it's a different password and such. Some of you already have it and have used it. Some of you may have an old version of it. I was using a link that I had been given like 2 or 3 years ago, and there's a newer, better, bigger, faster, stronger one. The nice thing about the office recordings is you'll get an email when your recording's ready. So when they've got your recording ready and the link where you're ready to post it somewhere or send it out, you get an email, which is a nice feature. Tested that out last night. If you do them in your class, you have to go pull it. You have to go pull the link, etc. Yes, Jan?
Does this stuff work with cell phones?
Does this stuff work with cell phones? So,
I mean, not for me, but for the students.
yes, so they can watch the recording or join a meeting from a browser. They don't have to log into Blackboard or anything. So when you send them that link, as long as they've got a browser, they can join the meeting. And I think everybody's got smartphones, got a browser on there. So in theory, yes. Is it better to do it on here? Yeah, because you've got like the chat window and all that cool stuff. So you can set up early entry so people can come in and get their audio and everything all set up. You can put in a description, all that good stuff. So down here in session settings, here are a couple things you'll want to pay attention to. Default attendee role, participant. Now, if you're setting up an office session or a meeting with a student, you may end up wanting to make them presenter so that they can share their screen or they can share content with you. When I have used Collaborate for student conferences, I've tried to make it really easy and have them just email me their paper so I can do all the screen sharing and showing them stuff. But, you know, if the student is tech savvy or if they're having trouble with something in the Blackboard course, you want to say, show me what you're doing, show me why it's not working, it's a good idea to make the student a presenter. I would not make all of your students presenters if you're doing a synchronous session because that can get a mess real quick. But you can also make one person at a time in a session a presenter or moderator or what have you. So you do have control over that. So you can have it set up here. They can share audio, share video, post chat messages. You can allow attendees to join the session using a telephone. I will also mention that when you come in, and this is for audio, you can also, if you're having trouble with your audio at home, you can use your phone and you can tie it to you on the screen. So it's not like you're in there as 2 participants. One of those is you. Well, it will show that you are there and your voice will be synced up with what you're doing on the screen. So that's a nice feature if you run into some tech problems with your microphone, speakers, etc.
Kind of dumb. Do our computers downstairs have a built-in microphone?
Only if you have a webcam. Question was, do our computers downstairs in our offices? Yeah, and you don't because we took your webcam for this presentation.
But the other side too is as a reminder, if most of us, I imagine, have laptops, they already have a built-in camera and mic.
And most laptops, of course, do have a built-in camera and mic. And if not, you can use your phone to
For the
set that
record,
stuff up.
The department can buy them for your office. Obviously, in the circumstances, that wouldn't come in until after this initial wave of crazy has already crashed.
That's right.
I've got one at home that was less than $20 that works really well. So if
My son has a really nice one, but I could always.
Folks are just asking questions about
Even
phones and stuff.
I can't bring that home.
So I'm going to go ahead and save this session and hop into it just really quickly. Hopefully none of my students are paying attention right now. So all right. Eventually, I may have just figured out how to break Collaborate by trying to start a Collaborate session while I'm in a Collaborate session with a bunch of people in Collaborate sessions. Okay. People following along at home on your computers, is everybody seeing a whole nice, fresh, new Collaborate session window? I'm going to mess up the whole screen now.
Yes.
They said yes.
Cool. All right. So a few things. When you come in for the first time, they're going to try to give you a tutorial, which is actually a pretty decent tutorial. If you want to use your phone for audio, you have the option to do that here. You also have the option to record your session. Please let people know they're being recorded. Also, please remember that you're being recorded. I will also mention, if you use this for office hours, it's a good idea to turn off your mic and camera and all that stuff until somebody actually comes in. It's really easy to forget you have it up and like get caught up in a conversation. God forbid an advisee come in and you start talking about grades and stuff, so be careful. So over here, there's the Tell Me About Collaborate, and there's Blackboard Collaborate Help, and they are tremendously helpful. I used them some last night to work out a few little issues I was having with figuring out some file uploads. At the bottom of the screen, and you all have all figured this out, you can share audio, you can share video. You do not have to share your video, obviously, to use Collaborate. Something that I worked with last night was sharing a PowerPoint on the screen, which I'll show you how to do in just a minute. And I just did a voiceover on the PowerPoint and then uploaded that, because I know some people don't want to be on camera, and let's face it, some of us are going to be at home with my house is not, let's say my house is not conducive to filming right now. So you also have your little raise hand button, which I see a lot of you have already figured out. So over here on the right is the Collaborate panel. This is where the chat, all the stuff happens. So you can send messages to everybody. You can also monitor attendees over here in this pane. Oh, it's telling me my experience is excellent. Good, I'm glad they know. And there are controls over here. So if we were able to get our lives together and have a captioner live, you could make somebody a captioner live in a session. Do not try to caption your own session while you're running. I'll leave it. Up here, more options. You can find an attendee. You can also mute all. So if people keep not turning off their mics, you can shut that down really quickly. So over here in settings, if you're having any, then settings is of course the little gear. I think it's like the universal setting sign now. If you're having trouble with anything, set up your camera and microphone, use your phone for audio. You can adjust your speaker volume. We do not have the option to display closed captions right now, so that's not working. You can adjust your session, so if you want to pay attention to when people are coming in and leaving, you'll get a noise, but you can have pop-up notifications. You can do the same thing for chat. You get the notifications here. If something is broken, you have the option to report an issue. So the big place that I spend a lot of time is in here with content sharing. So there are a few different things you can do. You can share a blank whiteboard, which is nice if you're doing something on the fly. I suddenly decided in one of my sessions the other week that we needed a whiteboard and I needed to type some stuff out. Please realize that if you do type stuff here, the people participating in your session will not see what you've typed until you've actually closed that little text box. It's like in Paint, you know, when you go to type something in there. I stupidly thought that everybody was following what I was doing and realized when I watched the replay that they weren't seeing anything until I closed that window. Because I was like, here, you see what happens if you change this word? So, yeah. Learn from my error. And everything up here, there's a pointer, there's, you know, pencil, shapes, text, and thank God, an eraser. Another thing you can do, which I like, is you can share files. So you can share a PowerPoint, PDF, image, what have you. I was checking to see where I put this. Okay. So I'm going to add, oh dear, hold on. Give me just a second. Sorry, guys. Oh, no. Thank you. I'm generally a little bit, see, this is what happens when people are actually watching me. Okay. So, okay. Eventually. So you can actually go ahead and upload your content before people come into your session, which I recommend for reasons that are right now very obvious to you. Once you've got your content there, you can click Share Now, and this will open up a slide pane. So you can actually jump around in your presentation if you want to. You can also draw and point and do stuff on your presentation. There is also a way, and I haven't played with this very much, to let students do this. So if you wanted to do an interactive activity, you can, put, like, if you want to have them do grammar correction, if you have some students in a session together, or you're doing a small group on something, you can do that. And you can just click through the slides as you want to and paste it on your own. So I will say, if you're doing something with video or audio content in your slideshow, instead of sharing the presentation like this, actually share the application, share PowerPoint. And you can do that similarly. So let's see, stop sharing, you can do that here. I'm going to hit the back button. You can also share an application or screen, which I'm already doing in another tab in this browser, so let's just see what happens. Okay, it's not giving me the option to share my PowerPoint, probably because I'm doing too many things right now. But you can share your entire screen. You can share your web browser. You can share a particular application. So sometimes if I'm working with students on an essay and I've got their essay in Word, I'll share Microsoft Word and I'll scroll through and we'll talk about their essay that way.
Just a reminder too, when you share your entire screen, if you've got a lot of tabs open, please make sure that all the tabs open are ones you feel comfortable with students seeing. Just a little
You can
suggestion.
share specific tabs.
And we have had some times when students have shared some stuff that, like, we have felt like we need to call somebody, and I'm not
Yes.
exaggerating.
So I just, I mean, you can take that all the ways, but I mean, if you just had something up that's not that quote unquote inappropriate, not something you want students to deal with.
Right.
Like even your personal email address may pop up.
Right.
Or a student record. That's
Yeah, make sure you close the Viso before you get happy sharing your stuff.
Now let me get you to back up and
Sure.
repeat something I think you said.
And I'm going to hit record on this session menu while you do that.
Okay, great, put me on record. You said, I think, that if you are doing a voiceover on a PowerPoint, just the audio with the PowerPoint, do not share it that way, share PowerPoint.
Yes, if there's audio in your PowerPoint. So like if you wanted to share music with students while you're doing this session, share PowerPoint. Don't upload the file and share it that way because you can run into some trouble with that. Now, play with it. I mean, do a test round and you may see that it's fine, but that was a recommendation from Blackboard Collaborate. Like when I was looking at their frequently asked questions of when you should do this versus
As
that.
in sharing an application, not sharing the file.
Correct.
When there's stuff in it.
Yeah. So a couple of other things I will mention. You can do breakout groups. If you are recording stops when you do breakout groups, so you have to start again when you all come back into the main room. So if you are working with students and you want them to go work on some activities, you can assign groups or you can do it randomly. You can move people around. You can make additional groups. So you can do custom assignment. There aren't any other people in here, so it won't let me do this. But it's a pretty easy thing to do. The other thing, make sure that you can hear the chats. Otherwise, it's really easy to forget that there are people asking questions and raising hands and stuff. One of the nice things about doing the PowerPoint in Collaborate is you're not out in the other application, so you still see the chat pane and everything there. So let's see, what else do I need to do? I don't know if this, I wanted to just do a little quick recording so that you could see what that looks like. So if you're doing this in your classroom, you stop the recording, you leave your session. It takes a little, it's always going to ask you how your experience was. I'll say it was excellent today. And that's the, you left the room. So if you come back to your room, you see this session is still in progress. What you recorded, however, will show up in recordings, and it takes a little bit to process. So just like you see, I've come in right now, it's not going to have my recording ready yet. You can filter it out. They do past 30 days. You can look at recordings in a particular range, whatever. You can search for them if you need to. When your recording shows up, you will be able to hit over here a download so that you can put that into YouTube for captioning. Now, if you did not allow downloads, it won't be there. You won't have the option to download it, but you can still go back and edit your session. You can do it after you've recorded it, after it's over. It's fine. So to give you an example, if I go back to sessions and I click my menu over here, I can edit my settings and make sure that I have allowed recording downloads, just like that. Yep, you can do it after the fact. I did it last time after the whole thing was over, whole shebang. I freaked out, realized what I'd done, and Amanda Carter was like, just go back and click allow download. So just to show you quickly, if you haven't done stuff on YouTube before, and I am by no means an expert, I'm about as far from it. You make sure you're logged in to your CCCC account. I accidentally uploaded a video PowerPoint on English to my personal account. Not that I ever upload videos to YouTube, but that was just entertaining and unfortunate. So I'm in my school CCCC account. You can see I teach pop culture, so hey Rhiannigans. Upload video, and you'll pull your video and you'll upload it here. It's really easy. It's a 3-step process. They'll ask you a couple of questions. You can choose to make your video unlisted, which means that you have to give students the link for them to see it. You can choose to make it public. Do not make it private. If you make it private, nobody can see it but you. So do not make your video private. Choose unlisted if you don't want random yahoos on the internet watching your videos. So to show you, here's the one that I did last night. Let's see what happens. All right, so I'm in the video editor. I uploaded this last night, and I worked on the closed captions. And if you come over here to editor, you can trim your video. You can play around in settings. There are a whole lot of different features you can use in YouTube. But if you need to edit your video, which sometimes you do, need to make it shorter, or maybe your cat walked in at the end or whatever, you can cut it here if you would like. I heard a question. How long before the recording shows? Last night, the short video I did showed up in about 2 minutes. I've had it take up to 30 minutes. If you do them in your Collaborate office instead of in your individual Blackboard class, they'll email you as soon as it's ready. And last night it was seriously just a couple of minutes. So if you go, you see right here, there's closed captioning, and you can turn that on. And you also can, in the editor, go in and open your transcript. So you can jump places, and you can also look. I will tell you that last night when I did this, there were no periods and no capitalizing, so I went in and that's literally all I fixed. It was pretty darn accurate. It is not always going to be accurate. So you can change your timestamps if you need to. Sorry, I'm trying to get back to a place that I was last night, which I suddenly can't find. Subtitles, options. Here's one of the things. You can change the font in the captions. You can change the font color. I will also mention last night one of the things I forgot about. Captions are going to come up down here, and you see where I have words and you see where I have content. If you are worried about that, and we probably should be, put your content higher in your slides if you're using slides and doing a voiceover. Yes, Janet.
Does it only transcribe?
No, you can change the language. The question was, does it only transcribe in English? But Janet, please check it. Please check it. So give me one more.
The editing portion of it is something that is going to continue to be of importance as we have students with accessibility issues that we're trying to address, that we can go in and verify that what is said is correct. Will be something that will pop up more and more.
Yes. So, sorry, give me just a moment. Subtitles, thank you. That's what I was trying to find. So if you go to subtitles, Janet, you can add a language. So under subtitles right here, you can click add language, and you've got options. Oh, and I need to let Tracy know about that. So you've got that option too. So that's really
Oh
cool.
my gosh, that is awesome.
So yeah, hey, look, accessibility. So those are a few things that you can do, and I apologize, y'all. I'm looking for one more thing that was abundantly clear to me last night, and is suddenly not. Another thing I'll mention, you can do an end screen, and they have what they call cards. So if you have some information, like if you want to put your contact information at the end of a video, which would be especially great for advising, if you're going to kick out an advising video, that's something that you can do. All right. You can also change closed captioning stuff here.
I'm probably asking the obvious question.
Go for it.
Again. I can sit in my office, pull up a PowerPoint, do a voiceover, save it, and just plug it into my Blackboard.
Yep.
Seamlessly.
Yeah, and that's the thing.
Put it for public
I
speaking
use
classes,
I
rather than
use YouTube for most of my videos for school because it's easy and quick. I record them, I upload them, turn on the captions, bang. But when I want to do screen sharing and when I want to upload files and stuff like that, I come to Collaborate. And of course, we've got Collaborate support here at school. It's through Blackboard, so it's a safe place. Some parents don't want their kids on YouTube. Like, there are a variety of reasons. So here's what I was going to mention. So when you view your published subtitles, you can come over here and you can do your editing. So if you want to, you can play the video and listen, and you can fix that. So you can just click through, put in periods, capitalized letters, all that stuff. This took me less than a minute last night to fix to get everything straight. So if you're doing big videos, that's going to take longer. And I do recommend that you go ahead and do more short videos than doing long videos. Plus, if you have a tech issue in the middle of a 25-minute video, you're going to want to quit your job. So those are just a couple things there.
Myself because I sat down last week and basically typed my lecture that goes along with the PowerPoint to share the transcript and the PowerPoint with students.
And so here you go. I've gone back into my office hour, and here's a practice recording right here. So when you click on recording options, you can download it. You can also copy the link. So if you've done this in your office hours, you just want to send it out to somebody. If you did a one-on-one, you can do that here. You can add the caption source, which involves you uploading the thing to YouTube, having it captioned, checking your captions, downloading the caption file, and then uploading that back on Collaborate. I have not done that yet. I have the process. Amanda Carter can walk you through it, but it's a little bit more work, and none of us are, I don't think, looking for more work right now. So there we go.
Okay, I have a question.
Okay.
I just want to record stuff, so I can do that through Collaborate, but just not invite anybody?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's what I've just done. Oh, yeah, so that's perfectly fine. And Kim, to answer your question, the quick little recording I did a few minutes ago is already up. So it's pretty quick. All right, I am going to come back over here. I'm going to stop sharing my screen because, oh my gosh, what a mess that makes. Are there any questions from up here? Yes.
I just had a question about how you're start sharing your Collaborate session. So you said you're going to go on Collaborate.
This is the part where I have no idea. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I just mean so are you planning you're going to have a little lesson that you're going to go over live and then they can ask questions, or you're just going to build a little talk?
So the question that I've just had is, how am I planning to structure my session? So full disclosure, I'm teaching a English 112 night class that met once a week anyway, so this is a really easy fix for me. So what I'm planning to do is at 6 o'clock on every Monday night, as long as we are in whatever state we're in, I'm going to go in, do a quick little lecture, have them ask whatever questions they have about the work we're doing. And I'm going to see how it goes the first time. And if I've got a lot of people coming in, I'll do a couple things where they can participate. Everything will be recorded and everything will be available to everybody. I know I've got a bunch of my night students have kids who are going to be home and they're not going to be able to leave and do like they usually would. I'm also going to do some office hour time and collaborate. I've always done stuff by appointment, but now I think I might actually fire up the real virtual office and collaborate and have it on. And so that stuff can, obviously I'm not going to record my office hour while I'm sitting there, but if a student comes in and needs to talk about a paper, I might record that and give them the option of having it. Other questions from the room or the virtual room?
I mean, do
Yeah.
we automatically have a YouTube account?
So yes, yep.
Because I've been doing all my YouTubes in my personal.
No, you can do it for school. YouTube is tied to Gmail, so your Google login, and we all by default have a Google login because we use Gmail for work.
So we have to be in our Gmail account to be able to get access that little.
Or you can log into YouTube with your school credentials.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Janet was just asking about how to log into YouTube with your school account.
And then they'll keep the credentials updated because they have to change them every 6 months.
Yeah, as long as you're logged into the portal. Though, if you were logged into this is what I did last night. I was logged into my personal email and my portal in the same browser, and I accidentally, because of that, like my personal email overrode and took me into my personal YouTube account, which I use for exactly nothing. So now there's a PowerPoint on my YouTube. And there's an app in your Drive menu. Thank you, Kim. I forgot about that. Yes, so if you click in Google, I don't have my Drive up. I'm not even going to do that right now. That'll take another 5 minutes. But yeah, the little grid over on the right where you go to access your calendar and everything, there's a YouTube icon over there that you can go right in. Other questions? Yes.
I'm sorry if you answered
No,
this already,
go
but
ahead.
if we have recordings that are already in Collaborate,
Mhm.
can we theoretically download them and then upload them into YouTube and they will? Okay.
Yes. You may have to go back in and change the session recordings if you didn't allow for downloads.
Okay.
Because I never thought to allow for downloads. I'm like, well, students need to download it. And then I was like, oh, dingus, you've got to do
Yeah.
captions. That's why.
I can-
So yeah. And again, Amanda Carter's the guru. This is kind of I know she's busy, so let me show y'all what I know. And I did get a list from her. Let me make sure I've done everything. Create a session. Oh, to invite a participant to session, you just copy the link and send it out. I'll also mention that in your office, when you create a session, if you do it from your office instead of in your class, you will get an email and it will give you your link and the guest link. Send the guest link, don't give anybody your link. Okay, I almost accidentally forwarded everybody the email last night and I was like, whoa, hold up, that's not what I need to do. And you don't have to have a login or anything to join as a guest. They can just click the link in any browser and roll right in. And they can also, if you set it up in Blackboard, they can go join in Blackboard. For my night class, I'm going to give them the option join in Blackboard and I'm going to email the link.
Is there a suggested browser?
So, great question. Suggested browser. If you're updated, it should work fine in Firefox or Chrome. I had some wonkiness last semester that I think was because things were updated. My Firefox hasn't been updated in a really long time because of the freeze they have on the computers. If you're up to date, everything should work fine. Chrome does tend to be preferred, but I'm doing this right now in Firefox, and I've got, 3 Collaborate sessions open and 2 recordings, and we're doing okay. So do not use Explorer for anything, ever at all. And yeah, Kim asked if I could send Amanda's list, and I'll send it just to recap. How to create a session, how to invite a participant to session or join from a Blackboard class, where to find a recording if you make one, it's under recordings, how to share the link to the recording, and just to review that really quickly, over here, so I went in to recordings. Oh, am I not screen sharing anymore? I'm sorry, y'all. Hold on. Thank you for the reminder. Wait for the wonky. It does take a moment to get the screen share to go. There you go. So I'm in recordings, over here, recordings. And then you just click over here. And you can copy the link and send that to students, whoever needs it. You can do that from here, or you can do that from your Collaborate office, or you can do it through the email. They'll send you a link by email and you can send that out if you do it in your Collaborate office. How to share your mic and video, you all have figured that out. How to share your screen, how to upload a file and share a PowerPoint if you wish to use that feature, where chat is and how to use it. And that's kind of the greatest hits of Collaborate. Any other questions? And I will, I did start recording this earlier. I will save it and send y'all a link to it. I'll even put it on Blackboard and caption it. Can we quickly access content in Blackboard for sharing? Yes. Do you mean like doing one of these recordings right in Blackboard and sharing it? The first little video that I did a few minutes ago was up in less than 5 minutes. So yes. I would say yes. I've had them take up to 30 minutes, but that's if it was really big and I did a lot of stuff. Like if I did a ton of screen sharing, had a file uploaded. But if it's something simple like what we've done today, it should be up there really quickly. And I will say that captioning last night, the automatic captioning in YouTube for a really short video did take about 15 minutes. So don't panic if your stuff up and there's no captions at all. Worst case scenario, you can go in and just transcribe it quickly, but give it a little bit. And they are of course also down on staff right now, so stuff is a little bit slower on YouTube right now, and I can only imagine the volume increase they're having. Other questions? All right. Well, I hope that is helpful. Thank you all for your time. Of course, Amanda Carter is the person you really want answering your questions, but if you need something and you see me online, please just let me know. I'm glad to try to help. Ryan is asking, no, the remote access agreement is not an interactive form. It is one that you can drop a signature on it like you've been doing for the alternate instruction forms, or you can scan it and send it.
It was interactive when I checked it a minute ago.
So Shauna said it was interactive for her. So I've never been able to make it interactive. So show me your ways.
I'm magic.
Okay, Shauna's magic. That's the answer we got. Other questions?
What were you saying a few minutes ago about Blackboard, sharing Blackboard? I mean, if you're in Collaborate, you're already in Blackboard, and say you want to go
So you
to
can
one of
be
your navigation links.
Okay. So Janet's question is about what I mean about sharing in Blackboard. So you can do these in your Blackboard classes, and you can also do them in your Blackboard office, but you can just share the link with students so they can access it from a browser. They don't necessarily have to already be in Blackboard, and you don't either. You can just be in Collaborate in a browser.
But I mean, like suppose I have a Blackboard session and somebody asks me something about our Blackboard course. See, we're already in Blackboard.
Yeah, you can just share your screen and go there in Blackboard and show them.
So you don't have to get out and Collaborate.
No, you can just share your screen and show them. I'll show you. You can come up here and I'll do it.
Yeah,
If you're cool, you can leave. I'm gonna show Janet something while I'm still in this meeting. So.
Oh.
Yeah, come here. It's fine. Yeah, it's fine. I'm just gonna show you what I did.
I didn't know if you had to open your Blackboard in a
So
different
like,
browser.
you see I've got all this junk open in one browser.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna click share content.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna say share my application or screen. Select what I want to share. This is the window I'm in. I'm in our department meeting, our Collaborate meeting. So it's gonna make sure I want to do it. I say allow. This is gonna go crazy in just a minute. You wait for everything to look weird.
No, interpersonal is fierce. But
So I was in Blackboard. I'm in Blackboard. I had to open another tab, and so anybody, and you see this, anybody who's in my meeting is seeing this right now. So if the student says, well, I don't know where to find anything, go over here and show it, and just navigate through like you normally would. Okay.
Okay, I've been through this plenty twice. I mean, I used to do Adobe Connect, and it's not that much different.
It's a lot like
The
that.
problem is I didn't know how to record, because there wasn't anything if you just wanted to record yourself.